Can you guess the player? Manchester United edition. Let's get into it. Andre Onana. Guess the player. Victor Lindelof. Who's the player?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Guess the player. Harry Maguire. Guess the player. Dimitar Berbatov. Guess the player. Lisandro Martinez. Guess the player. Tyrell Malacia. Who's this player? Rafael Varane. Do you know him? Diogo Dalot. Who's this player? Luke Shaw. What's this player's name? Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Guess the player. Brandon Williams. Guess the player. Johnny Evans. Guess the player. Alvaro Fernandez. Who's the player? Willy Kambwala. Who's the player? Sofian Amrabat. Guess the player. Mason Mount. Guess the player. Yes, it's Bruno. Who's the player? Christian Eriksen. Who's the player? Amad Diallo. Guess the player. Casemiro. Who's this player? Facundo Pellistri. Guess the player.
Donny van de Beek.
Who's this player? Kobe Mainoo. Guess the player. Scott McTominay. Guess the player. Daniel Gore. Guess the player. Hannibal Mejbri. Who's this player? Omari Forson. Who's the player? Anthony Marshall. Guess the player. Marcus Rashford. Guess the player. Rasmus Højlund. Who's this player? Yes, it's Antony. Guess the forward. Jadon Sancho. Who's the player? Shola Shortire. Who's the player? Mason Greenwood. Guess the player name.
Alejandro Garnacho.
Last one. Guess the coach. Yes, it's Erik ten Hag. If you enjoyed this one, please like, subscribe and ring that notification bell to get football notified.